But for you, was there? Would you say that there was a specific moment where, or a specific incident or issue or anything like that, that sort of led you down the path, or was it just what was going on in Florida at the time?
Well, when it comes to leading me down the path, it was really post, not not even post 2020 election. It was post Bernie dropping out. Right when Bernie dropped out, that's when I said to myself, mm-mm, I'm not voting for any Democrat.
Yeah.
Because I saw the way they cheated Bernie. Now, if you remember very closely about what happened during the Democratic primaries, it was one of the final debates. This was before Pete Buttigieg and, oh my God, what's her name?
Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah, Amy Klobuchar. Before Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, and Elizabeth Warren, before they all dropped out, there was a question that was asked amongst all of the presidential candidates. And the question was, and I'm paraphrasing, if you have one person with a plurality of votes, but not a majority, should that person go on to be the nominee of the Democratic Party, or should you send it back to the delegates to decide basically who they want to be the nominee instead of it being a democratic process?
Right.
Everybody except for Bernie Sanders raised their hand to let it go back to the delegates.
Of course.
And of course, Bernie said, well, no, if it's a plurality, then let that be the deciding factor. And that told me that the Democratic Party did not believe fully in the democratic process. The Democratic Party is as democratic as the Federal Express is a federal government bureaucracy. So it's just a name, right? It's just like Burger King is not the king of burgers. Right. It's just a name. So the thing is that this made me realize what it really is. You have people like Kamala Harris that backtracked on Medicare for all during the debates, really, during the earliest part of the debates. Tulsi Gabbard backtracked and basically revealed that even though she's touted herself as progressive at the time, she actually did not believe in any policies that were truly progressive, like Medicare for all. Then you remember how Elizabeth Warren tried to say she was for Medicare for all. She touted it, as fervently as Bernie did. But then when push came to shove, then she tried to create it into what Pete Buttigieg wanted it to be. So nobody was really a Medicare for all or single payer healthcare purist besides Bernie. And so then it showed me that none of these people really truly care about having a true system that will benefit everybody from the ground up. They all wanted to have a system where it's tiered, right? Some people are better than others. So some people, get to have, this system, whereas everybody else who are lower in the rungs can have that system. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. So, in a long-winded way, I'm saying that because of the 2020 primary, that caused me to vote in 2020 for Howie Hawkins. Unfortunately, he's definitely not the best on a lot of different issues, but I rather have voted for Howie Hawkins than voted for the duopoly. And then, of course, as I learned more about what went on, for instance, with the DNC fraud lawsuit that was argued by Bruce Spiva, basically speaking about how the Democratic Party is a private organization. It is not a government institution. And so
when I found out about all of that stuff, that was so shocking to me. Like that how it functioned that way. And like when, you know, when the WikiLeaks emails came out about Hillary basically being, not even basically, she was literally in control of the funding of the DNC and like who got money, and everything had to be cleared through her during the race when Bernie was still in it. I was like, wait a minute, like what is going on here? Like that was shocking to me. Like I didn't realize it could be that blatant.
Well, yeah, I mean, even Donna Brazil actually revealed that.
Yeah, she
And
admitted to it and then tried to like backtrack later when everyone was like, but you said this. And she was like, well, no, not really. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's crazy because with Donna Brazil, she revealed that. And then the WikiLeaks brought out how Debbie Wasserman Schultz was also part of the rigging of the DNC. But is it really rigging if the system is corrupt from the outset? Not really. It's just that the Democratic Party has always been this way. It's just a lot of us woke up to it, especially when we actually tried to put somebody in office that we thought was for the people.
right.
Now I look at somebody like Bernie Sanders now and I go, was he really for the people? Part of me feels like he was controlled opposition now, which some people are now starting to see, especially because of his position regarding the massacre that's happening in Gaza. But at the time, we felt that Bernie was a man of the people.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a disappointing change. Or, you know, I don't know if it was a change or, you know, if he was revealed who he was the whole time. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. Like there's some theories floating around, but we won't get into all that today. But so I guess my question then would be, as Black people, right? Because we know that at this point, we know. And one good thing about this Biden presidency that I will say is I've heard more people who were just lifelong dedicated Democrats make any sort of excuses for them. Well, the reason they can't do this is because of XYZ, and they'll give them all the excuses and leeway in the world why they can't get things done. You know, these people, I'm finally seeing where even they're like, I don't think I can vote for Biden again. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it took somebody so horrible for people to wake up to it, it looks like, but it does feel like it's starting to happen. So I guess the energy feels reminiscent to me, sort of how it did in 2016, where it was like, we're looking for something to be radically different now. And that's why Trump was the leader on the right. That's why Bernie was the leader on the left amongst the people. So I feel like that thing is in the air again. Do you agree? And if so, what do you think we should do with that energy? Because there's not a Bernie, so to speak, on the left right now, you know? So what strategy do you think we need to be trying to use to cultivate this energy in a positive way?
That's a good question. And one of the things I was actually thinking about was when it comes to Joe Biden, think about it this way. What would the energy be like right now if Donald Trump had won 2020 election? If Donald Trump had won the 2020 election and the same scenario works out to right now what's going on in Gaza, there will be a bunch of liberals that are also be screaming for a ceasefire. They will be teaming up with us on the left. But for when a Joe Biden or a Joe Manchin or the governor of California, I forget his name.
Gavin Newsom.
Kevin Newsom. Yeah.
Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom. I'm sorry. For some reason, my brain is slipping today. Don't do drugs, kids. So one of the things, it could be a Gavin Newsom, but they will be making excuses of why we need to vote for these people, why we need to vote for Kamala Harris, why we need to vote for Gavin Newsom, why we need to vote for a Marianne Williamson, right? They would be making excuses for that and saying that. The benefit of having a Democrat in place now is that this is showing and revealing the rot that's not rot, how corrupt the Democratic Party has been for decades.